Welcome back to ABC24 This Week. City Councilwoman Michaeline Easter Thomas and Shelby County Clerk Wanda Halbert, both in hot water this week, both having issues that have come up before government bodies and having to respond to it, and both deciding to do very different things about it. In the case of City Councilwoman Michaeline Easter Thomas, she had a job with the Memphis River Parks Partnership, which is financed in large part by city tax dollars, and there were issues raised immediately when she got the job about a conflict of interest because she also sits on the city council, obviously. And after an ethics panel looked at it and decided unanimously that there was some legitimate ethical issues being raised there, she immediately resigns from the post and pretty much silences her critics at that point, although I guess there's a chance she could be censured. Otis, I want you to quickly talk about how she handled this and how did she get the job in the first place is another question I have.
Well, I don't know how she got the job. Well, I mean, she's a very accomplished person.
But I mean, the ethics question should have been apparent.
Well, it should have. I think that there should have been some discussion on the front end between the leaders at the Parks Partnership, her, and the lawyers at City Hall about the minefields here. And I don't know that ever happened. Nobody has said that happened. But the way she handled it, I think, was excellent. She took a bullet here and said that I'm going to resign.
And people don't do that often anymore. I really respect her for that.
I mean, they are too combative, and we'll probably talk about that in a minute. I think that there's no chance that she's going to get censored. No. There were two people among the many elected officials who were there to support her at that ethics hearing earlier last week, and they were city council people. And so I just don't think that that's going to happen at all. I think it's over. It's been resolved. She has resigned. We're going to move on. That's the way I see it.
You agree, Susan?
I absolutely agree. Look, clearly she wanted to keep her public position, and I think that was her choice. But as I told Otis earlier, she's probably overqualified to sit on the council anyway. I mean, this woman holds a doctorate in education and administration from Vanderbilt and has an undergraduate degree from Columbia. I mean, this is one smart lady. So I'm sure she put a lot of thought to it, and she picked the position that she wanted. She's going to get another job sometime soon.
And a real
She's
good one.
highly qualified. But I think the whole thing raises another question.
Okay.
The ethics panel, this ethics commission, who is this? Who sits on this commission? So I spent about a half an hour this week trying to find the names of the people who sit on the city's ethics commission. We have an ethics page on the website. There are no names. There absolutely are no names, and I think it's kind of funny that here's an organization that's preaching transparency in city government, and that's their assignment, and you can't even find out who sits on the commission. So
like a star chamber then.
So I mean, I think this, come on, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and that goes for every one of these council members who recuse themselves from a vote, and they have done so in the past and will do so in the future. Why haven't they been called before the council's the ethics commission to talk about why they've recused themselves?
It was interesting, the support that was rallied for her. I saw 2 digital billboards saying, "We support Michaeline Easter Thomas," just yesterday. So as we do this on a Friday, so on Thursday. So that was interesting to me. But I think that, she handled it the way it was obvious that she should handle it, and she's going to reap the benefits of it.
She's a pure professional. She went to school with my youngest son, so Dr. Easter Thomas is just an amazing young lady. But it just begs the question, too. You've had elected officials who served on the city council, who worked for a school system that at the time, helped fund, right? So it's unfortunate that she even had to go through this process because there have been other elected officials who've worked for entities that have been funded.
Retirees of MLGW.
Okay, exactly.
And who chaired a utility committee.
Exactly, that goes on and on. So it's just unfortunate that this had to happen for her.
It just kind of smells to me like a little bit of revenge going on here. And I can't figure out exactly what it is.
happened.
Okay. Well, one more politician to talk about where the response was a little bit different was Wanda Halbert, Shelby County Clerk. And I know we have to bring her up every week.
I know it.
But we won't spend a lot of time on Wanda today. But we did learn that she finally had a hearing before a judge. We learned that she will also have another hearing on June 25th about whether she should be suspended while we wait for a trial. And that date has been set for August. And the judge in the case, Felicia Corbin Johnson, saying that she disagrees with the independent prosecutor on this and thinks that there should be a Shelby County jury if this goes to trial, not out of county, as Attorney General Wamp had advocated for. What are your thoughts about how this is shaken out?
Well, I think that Judge Corbin Johnson is right. I mean, look at what just happened with the former President Trump's trial. You know, coming out of New York, he had a jury of his peers, right, evaluate him. So if there's going to be a court trial, it should be in Shelby County. I believe that.
Okay, Susan?
Oh, I don't know what else to say about Wanda Halbert, except I wish she would forego the trial. I wish she would resign. I wish she would go to the public and say, look, if you don't want me here, I don't want to be here, I resign, collect your pension, which will be a nice pension, and then move to Jamaica. I mean, do whatever. But don't put yourself through a trial. Why would you want to do that?
She's going to go down fighting those things, you know that.
Her pension is at stake, and she could live to regret that.
Yeah, you talk about the contrast between her and the Councilwoman Easter Thomas. Councilwoman handled hers with grace, and it was a sacrifice to give up that job, I believe. So I agree with attorney was Mr. Wharton. And here we have Wanda who fights to the very end, bitter end. It's not going to end well for her if she goes to trial, because this is not a criminal case. This is whether she's competent to be in that office. And I think we already established that she is not. And so whether the jury is in town or out of town, I don't think they're going to be on her side.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Would you say?
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
She's been elected how many times?
Right, that's
we'll
right.
see.
Yeah, well, this isn't a voting booth.
I sense
Well, it's voting. It's voting in,
Well, but they're not going to say she's competent to get that job.
I agree.
we might have to have a wager on that at some point.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about, we know it's only June 1st or the beginning of the month of June, but we'll be talking about the November election in just a minute.